My buddy and comedic genius, James Gregory, passed away last week. I filled in for him recently because he was under the weather, obviously, really under the weather. And I took his coveted spot that I was honored that they asked me to do it. But James is so funny. He's going to be so missed. And nobody did Southern humor with such joy and love as James, like this bit.
This is what I've told people over the years, is they would ridicule me about my fear of flying. And you've heard this logic too. They'll always go, more people die in car wrecks than they do plane crashes. I go, so? That's the way I want to go. Car wreck. Where I'm from, it's kind of like a tradition. We don't have heart attacks in my family. We just cross the median. Usually on the weekend.
Very sad to hear that he passed away. An absolute genius. And you guys knew each other for how long?
25, 30 years.
When did you first meet him?
I met him as a fan first. I went to a show and watched him work. And then when I was doing radio, he would be a guest on my show.
Yeah.
And we'd plug the shows he was doing. And then as I was starting to work as a comic, and then I got to open for him a couple of times. And then really open with him, and then travel a little bit. But I got to hang out with him, and I almost always worked with him when he came to my home club in Lexington as his opening act. And he was so good to me, and he taught me so many things. I learned how to handle hecklers through James. He taught me great techniques on to walk away from the noise, and then if it persists, walk to the noise and stand on it, and then stare at them. But most importantly, and this is a lot of comics don't do this, soften your voice, get almost whisper into the microphone so they'll hear themselves. That's their last chance before you go attack. And because most people are kind enough, they'll shut up.
Yeah, they'll start to feel the bit of shame that they should feel when they can hear themselves.
Right, now if I'm whispering into the mic and you're still talking, I got no choice now to address it, and then I go after him. But I learned all of that from James.
Wow.
And James was so good to my grandmother was a huge fan. So whenever James and I were together, I'd make him talk to her. And he'd go, "Now, what's your grandmother's name?" And I said, "Phyllis." "Phyllis, how are you?" With that southern accent.
Yes.
"Phyllis, I'm going to send DVDs and some shirts." And she's like, "Oh, thank you, James." And she would sit and watch his DVDs over and over and over. She loved
Did she watch yours?
No, she didn't care for me so much. Yeah.
Well, if you were lucky enough to see James Gregory perform his comedy, you are a lucky, lucky person indeed. And if you were lucky enough to know him, like Lee and many other comics, blessed as well. James Gregory, an amazing comic.
Here's to you, buddy.
Yeah.
At least if you die in a car wreck, they can always retrieve the body. And being Baptists, we need that. You give us something to embalm and some tater salad, we can have a funeral. This ashes in an urn ain't for us. Oh no, we're gonna throw dirt on somebody.